As 2024 begins to come to a close, all eyes are looking to 2025, and the exciting part is, if history repeats, then next year will be an explosive year for the crypto market where everything goes parabolic, creating many new millionaires. And as you'll soon see in this video, there are so many reasons as to why next year will likely be a massive year for all crypto investors. And so, in this video, as always, we'll be covering the latest price action to see what has been going on, then where are we in the crypto cycle and what may be coming our way in January, and then we'll finish with the biggest developments from all around the world in just the past couple of weeks. Okay, first up with the latest volatility after the Fed cut rates, let's take a look and see what is going on. So we are jumping in with the latest price action with the Bitcoin USD chart, and right now there's a bit of a bloodbath going on in the crypto market. We can see Bitcoin has turned negative on the month. We have Ethereum being slammed on the month, and then altcoins getting hit even harder. Solana being hit, Coinbase, Avalanche, just to name a few. And Bitcoin dominance has jumped back up, just kissing 60% once again. So what is going on? Well, this started with the Federal Reserve with Jerome Powell, and he indicated that inflation is being a bit stickier than he would like, and that there may only be 2 more rate cuts coming next year. Obviously, the market didn't like this. There was no mention of QE, only more quantitative tightening, so that was what started it. And then we have this debacle going on US Congress about the latest spending bill, and the government may be shutting down as early as tomorrow. So there was a big debacle as the Democrats tried to ram through this 1,500-page spending bill, only giving people a day or two to read it, and it was full of corruption, like another 40 billion going to Ukraine. Everybody in Congress was going to get a nice 40% pay rise. So there was a lot of hoo-ha, and this bill got rejected. Then the one that was put in its place by President Trump was a much down slim version that was actually going to do the job. It was going to give money relief to the people affected by the hurricanes. It was going to make sure the government still runs until he takes office. But the Democrats have just denied this, which means as it stands right now, the government may be shutting down. So obviously that is impacting fear into the markets as well. So when it comes to key levels, I'd say the key level is still going to be around this 90,000 level here. So Bitcoin really has to hold this level. If not, there could be another leg lower. There's a nice candle here taking it down to 80,000. And remember this 80,000 number because I'll talk about it in just a second. But I think if it does hit 80,000, that's probably going to be a lot of liquidations. So it would literally shoot down, touch it, and then begin shooting back up almost instantly. So latest price action is a bit crazy right now. But then, as I predicted, it was very likely that we were going to get a big December sell-off. So let's move on to the insights from Seasonality. So as we can see here, December has now gone negative for Bitcoin. And if we compare to 2020, this is definitely out of the ordinary. And the one previous 2016, it's still out of the ordinary. But Bitcoin can still rally over the last 2 weeks. And in fact, this is what it did last time. The first half of the month, it actually came down and dropped. And it was the second half of the month where all the gains were made. So still lots of time for Bitcoin. And when it comes to Ethereum, which represents more of the altcoin market, we now have double-digit drop. A double-digit drop over 11% for Ethereum, with many altcoins getting crushed. So this is deviating from the last halving year, and we have mentioned before that it was actually tracking 2016 quite closely. All the months had been the same: green, red, red, green, green, triple red, green. It finally broke this pattern in November when we found out Donald Trump was getting elected. So that broke the pattern. However, it seems to have reverted back in December. So all this says to me is that history is repeating, and I have no issue with history repeating as long as it goes both ways. Because when we look at the post-halving year, so this is 2017 and 2021, if history continues to repeat, then a 30% jump in January, followed by 50%, followed by 200%, then 67%, 160%, 26%. So I have no problem with history repeating as long as that continues, because Q1 and Q2 would be ridiculously good. And same thing for 2021. As long as history repeats, we get an 80% jump January, followed by 8, followed by 34, followed by 44. For me personally, this would be enough to hit my income target for this cycle, and I would be out. So again, I have no problem of history repeating and December being a crappy month for Ethereum and altcoins as long as history keeps repeating. Now, let's take a look at this crash. So as mentioned in a video last week, I was talking about this section here where, weirdly enough, about 240 days after the halving, there seems to be quite a big crash. So let's just zoom in on this section here. So this is the halving here. Here's 100 days, 200 days, and it's about 240 days. We can see last time there was a big 30% crash. The time before that, so going back 8 years, there was a big 30% crash. And lo and behold, what do we see? The crypto market takes a big nosedive. So it's very spooky that history just seems to be repeating. And what's going on now, despite the reasons, it doesn't matter that it's to do with the Fed cutting rates or the government shutdown. The reasons are different every time. It's just weird that about 240 days after the halving, no matter what the reason, there seems to be a big sell-off in the crypto market. So if you watched that video from last week, then we know that it's only a matter of time. Literally 1 month from now, prices will likely be back to where they were and on to new highs. And if you're able to, in the absolute worst crashes when people are freaking out, these are the best times to buy. Again, if history repeats, you'd get a stellar return on investment. Now, as far as I can see, this is actually not that bad. We've just had one leg down. And if we can see here, we had a leg down, a big recovery before a second leg recovery, a third, and even a fourth leg down. 2017, we had a leg down, a big jump up, then a very severe drop, another big rebound, and a third leg down before it finally bottomed. So we have just seen one sharp leg down. So there's nothing to say that we shouldn't get a nice rebound, and then maybe we get a leg down to this 5x from the bottom level. And remember I said, remember that $80,000 Bitcoin mark from the previous chart? Well, if we did get a leg up and then a nasty flush out, this would be $80,000. And I, for one, would certainly be scrambling to get as much money as I can to buy this, as altcoins would get crushed. Because if it does hit 80,000, I think it will be a liquidation event, which means it will be over in a matter of minutes. the market would hit the level and it would be bouncing back incredibly quickly. However, remember, for most people, if you just sit this out, the storm will be over and back to normal probably within a month. So just note, this big downturn is nothing out of the ordinary. It happens every 4 years. This isn't an anomaly. So if you're not able to buy the dip, maybe start your holidays early, log off from checking prices, and come back in January. Now, on to the biggest developments, and there was a big hoo-ha with trying to get Crenshaw renewed and restored at the SEC. And she was one of the commissioners that was, if you can believe it, more anti-crypto than Gary Gensler, the chair. She was one of the people who actually said no to approving the Bitcoin ETFs. So after a massive backlash, the Democrats have decided to scrap this and Crenshaw will no longer be getting extended. So that's bullish news. We saw in the Czech Republic, the government has moved to make crypto that's been held for more than 3 years exempt from being taxed. So this is amazing to see. It's great for all the hodlers. If you've held your crypto for more than 3 years, no tax to be paid. Amazing for the Czechs. And I hope other countries, as game theory really starts to pick up, uses this as an example. Massive news from the traditional banking scene. Deutsche Bank is building an L2 blockchain on Ethereum. Can you believe it? The massive banks building L2s. If you'd have seen this headline literally a year ago or 2 years ago, it would have been breathtaking. But now it seems to be business as usual. Yeah, of course, the massive mega banks are building L2s on Ethereum. Why not, right? And this time they're using ZK Sync. So this is amazing to see. Traditional finance integrating with blockchain. We have BlackRock, world's largest money manager, and they have just made a purchase of municipal bonds through a platform built by JP Morgan. So again, more traditional finance stuff. We have a blockchain platform being built by JP Morgan and BlackRock buying municipal bonds through it. So clearly incredibly bullish. And this is the tokenization of all financial assets happening in front of our eyes. So these are the fundamentals. And what's going on in the market right now is just fear-based. Everyone forgets about crypto adoption. They're just freaking out and things get oversold and it goes down further than it should, because this is what is actually going on once you step aside from all the fear. Great to see the development of indexes, and this will lead to index funds. So CoinMarketCap has launched a 100 index, which just tracks the entire 100 from one place. So this is what it looks like, mostly over half in Bitcoin, then Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and then everything else down here. So this is an index, and from an index, people can then just buy index funds, which is something I think the market desperately needs. We did see this from Coinbase about a month ago. They created their index fund, the C50, which essentially is a very similar thing, but just tracks the top 50. And this way you can buy just one fund and get exposure. 50% basically does the portfolio for you. 50% in Bitcoin, probably a quarter in Ethereum, then you've got Solana, XRP, and index funds is going to be incredible for the market. One, people just buying the index will naturally put money into all of these tokens. So if you own the top 10, these just get stronger and stronger. Plus, it eliminates the problem of holding your money. Let's say you have a quarter of your money in Dogecoin, and then Dogecoin suddenly disappears. Or it could be XRP, it could be Solana. It means you don't get wiped out. So index funds development for this cycle is amazing to see. We had BlackRock coming out and creating their latest research, and in that they are recommending people to buy Bitcoin. Put 2% into Bitcoin. So the world's largest money manager saying that you need to be putting Bitcoin in your portfolio. Incredibly bullish. Now, you may have heard that the US may be building a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but then you also have individual states that may be doing it as well. The Ohio lawmakers introduced Bitcoin reserve bill for the state to buy Bitcoin. So can you imagine if the US as a whole builds a Bitcoin reserve and then the individual states also do so? This news is just incredibly bullish. And finally, we're going to finish up with this slide, and it's just to get people out of the fear of what's going on right now and put people back to the true perspective. This is what next year looks like for digital assets. Ready? Remember, we now have a crypto president coming in January. Not only that, they have control of the House and the Senate, which means that the things that they want to do will likely just fly through into law. We have a crypto-friendly SEC chair coming in, a crypto czar, so a dedicated person to develop crypto and AI, which is just unheard of for the US. We have a crypto-friendly Treasury Secretary coming in. Trump wants to build a Bitcoin US reserve. And then remember, we're moving into the last 9 months of the cycle, give or take a few months, which historically is the banana zone where everything begins to go crazy. We have rates being cut. Peak rates has already happened. It's already started to come down and rates are now coming down. Liquidity can only come back up. So whether this starts back up in January or February, it's only a matter of time until liquidity comes back, as it's almost completely drained out. We have several more crypto ETFs being launched. We have the world's largest money manager recommending to buy crypto. And then think about the knock-on effect this will have in other countries around the world when this is getting implemented from the world's #1 economy. There's going to be serious FOMO from other countries from all around the world, not wanting to miss out on the digital asset revolution. So remember, guys, this is what we have in play coming to a computer screen very near you. If you can, over the next week or two, if there is another crazy leg down even from these prices, I for one will be buying this dip. Obviously not financial advice. If you have to sit it out, but this is what's coming. As 2024 begins to come to a close, all eyes are looking to 2025. And the exciting part is, if history repeats, then next year is going to be an explosive year for the crypto market, creating many new millionaires. The fact of the matter is, the tide has now changed for the crypto market. There are so many tailwinds, and unless something major happens, it's going to be another amazing year. Now, this will be my last video for the year, as I'll be taking next week off for Christmas and New Year. So let me finish by just saying, don't worry about any price action over the coming weeks. I've seen Christmases where we get a nice Santa rally, and I've seen Christmases where we do get a sell-off. However, I honestly don't see how anything is going to be able to stop crypto having an amazing year in 2025. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you do have any burning questions, then simply use super thanks below. However, just remember to get rid of 100% of the comment spam and trading bots that plague YouTube comments. We are trying out the new SuperThanks Commenting system. So to get your question or comment read and replied to, or just to say thanks, then use super thanks below. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you next year. Bye for now.